Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. We meet again for another security scan of important activities that have taken place in and around India, which has implications for India's internal security, external security, and also the way by which India is fighting a multi-domain war against China. The first important event is that Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is a terrorist group which is based in Afghanistan, which keeps on attacking Pakistan, has said that India's economic growth is growing at a very fast speed and it's a lesson for Pakistan. It says that the two countries started with an identical figure of economic growth, but today India's GDP is double that of Pakistan. A huge cache of arms and ammunition was recovered near the LOC. This ensures that another effort of the Pakistani terrorists was foiled. The Indian Army is coming up with a smart fence along the line of control, which will help them to control the infiltration. As it stands right now, infiltration from Pakistan, 95% of the terrorists get killed on the LOC itself, but 5% do manage to go inside. And the fence obviously is very costly in terms of resources. So, with the help of technology, a smart fence will definitely help the cause. India has now uh, positioned its new strike capable drones at the forward air bases in the northern sector. The Heron Mark II drone, which is a very good long range, long endurance weapon system, which is very good for surveillance, will be used on the LOC as well as on the LOC to keep a watch on the movement of the Pakistanis and the Chinese. The Indian Army has ordered 7,300 crores worth of emergency buy from the Desi companies to counter China. Government of India has uh, cleared loans worth rupees 20,000, which will help the Indian Navy to build 5 warships. This will be built under the Hindustan Shipyard Limited. There was a report from the Indian Air Force which talked about how Indian Air Force's airlift helped India to deploy its forces quickly after the battle at Galwan. The next issue pertains to the Russian air defense system, also called as S-400. This was getting delayed because of Ukraine-Russia war and Russia wanting to use it in Ukraine itself. But now reports have come that the Russians will be able to supply this system on schedule, which will strengthen our anti-aircraft defense capability. There has been a statement from Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, who said that the country is become more safe now, the borders have become more secure, and he says how the infiltration effort by the Chinese was spoiled at Yangtze in Tawang in December 22. One of the Indian Navy ships, INS Kulish, is going to participate in the celebration 77th Independence Day at Singapore. So this basically shows that the Indian Navy ships are going to various places, showing the power of Indian Navy to get in the deep sea. President Draupadi Murmu has inaugurated a launch of an advanced naval stealth frigate called Vindhyagiri in Calcutta. It is being built by the Garden Research Shipbuilders Engineers Limited, and this will be the sixth vessel out of seven which are a part of Project 17 aimed at strengthening the Navy's fleet. This is will ensure that our naval strength improves further. Uh, the Indian company are actually cooperating with each other. One of the companies is Carbaround, which is uh, coordinating itself with Forge, which is going to basically build sturdier drones, which is going to do research on nanomaterials. So now it is what is happening now. is a trickle down effect is taking place, and the Indian private sector is getting involved into the research of drones, which is a very good news, because if your country has to become powerful, then we have to ensure that our private sector, which is always more efficient, gets involved. India is also building up a long-range revolver called Prabal, and this will be launched. This has already been launched on 18th of August. It has been built by one of the public sector undertakings, and the Coast Guard saved a Chinese national after he had suffered a cardiac arrest at Arabian Sea. The Chinese obviously were very grateful for it. The National Investigation Agency raided 8 locations in Jammu and Kashmir, which were targeting the minorities and also carrying out cyber operations. So this ensures that the front organizations, the NGOs which are helping Pakistan, are kept under check. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, along with a company called Sarfan, are going into a joint venture for manufacturing of choppers. This will ensure that the choppers are made in India itself. There were one important news with regard to Afghanistan, Pakistan. There was an attack, there was a blast in a hotel in Kabul in which 3 people were killed. India's soft power was at its best when at Cambridge it was Prime Minister Rishi Sunak who attended a function of Ram Navami, and he was present there. The UK Hindu community was present there in a large number. The next issue pertains to securing India's internal security. On the eve of Republic Day, 954 police medals were awarded, out of which a large number went to the CRPF, followed by others. The, the highest award of Kirti Chakra has been awarded to L. Imocha Singh for his bravery in anti-Naxal operations. A Naxal couple which was involved in big ambushes has surrendered in Sukma in Chhattisgarh. 5 Naxals have also been arrested by the Uttar Pradesh ATS. The next issue pertains to China's multi-domain war, which India is successfully countering. Firstly, there's a report that the Chinese young people are extremely unhappy as far as the Chinese government is concerned. The Taiwanese company Foxconn is going to invest billions in India for manufacturing semiconductors here. As far as the eastern Ladakh is concerned, India and Chinese talks have failed, but there are reports that the two national security advisors of the two countries may meet again to talk about the boundary issue, and there will also be a major general level talk which will decide or which will discuss confidence building measures. The Chinese defense minister has warned America that it should not be it is playing fire as far as Taiwan is concerned. Basically, this was in response to the Taiwanese vice president's visit to the USA. Germany, one of the most powerful European countries, has drafted a policy by which there will be curbs on the Chinese investments. The Vietnam has said that it is going to build up its military buildup in South China Sea, especially the Spratly Island, because China is claiming the Spratly Island. As far as Indonesia is concerned, Indonesia is also tapping the surveillance of local fishermen to boost defenses at the Natuna Island, because the Chinese are penetrating the exclusive economic zone of the Vietnamese regularly. Next issue is that China wants to cut its dependence on iron ore, coal, etc. from Australia. So therefore, it is building a railway line at Guinea in Africa, which will ensure that the iron ore of the coal extracted there will be brought by the railway line on the coastline, and from there it will be brought to China. It is basically Chinese are trying to reduce their dependence on Australia. Now, China has recently claimed that it is now developed laser weapons which gives it an edge over United States in the as far as the space weapons are concerned. China is increasing its farmland in a big way because it is extremely dependent on food imports. So 1 lakh and 70,000 hectares of the land is going to be reclaimed in a drive to cut imports amidst global supply chain fears. China is carrying out a data warfare with the United Kingdom. There has been a report by the United Kingdom that the Chinese have breached the United Kingdom's election commission and has stolen lot of information with regard to the voters there. Chinese hackers are known to hack government sites of the European companies and also the government sites of USA to steal sensitive information in which they are succeeding regularly. Uh, Therefore, the United Kingdom is worried. The United States, South Korea, and Japan are meeting at Camp David, in which they are going to discuss formal security arrangement where the countries will come to the defense of each other. This will be with respect to issues like technology, education, defense, etc. So this will ensure that the alliance against the Chinese will become more stronger. Recently, the Taiwanese vice president visited America despite threats from China. The India today is entering the chip market in a big way, and it is expected that the chip semiconductor chip industry, which is a very important component of the technology, will be produced in a big way in India. Japan had to scramble its jets, fighter jets, that is, when the Chinese naval patrol entered their exclusive economic zone. Recently, Taliban has said that it will permit international flights to fly over Afghanistan. This will definitely benefit countries like India. Flights coming from USA and Europe can fly over the airspace of Afghanistan, but nobody is very happy because people still feel, the airlines still feel that it is very, very dangerous. Americans are going to increase their tariff war against China, and China's economic woes are only increasing. 2.9 trillion trust industry, which is basically some kind of a bank where rich Chinese put their money and get good return. They are under deep trouble. And one more economic pillar of Chinese economy is proving to be faulty, and it may come down. That's why it will ensure, or it will result into the Chinese economy further going into on a default mode. Uh, Now, last 2 points about the Ukraine war. Russia, the United States is likely to give F-16 aircraft for the Ukraine counteroffensive. The Ukraine counteroffensive is not able to make progress as it was expected to be. But one thing is very clear, that the Ukrainians are using drones even to target central Moscow. Now imagine Moscow, which is the capital of the Russia, is still not able to defend itself against the drone attacks. So it shows as to how powerful are the drones. Though in this particular case, the drones were shot down, but it definitely created a scare in the central Moscow region. Also, the Ukrainian war has resulted into some kind of pause for China. The Chinese were planning to attack the Taiwanese to capture it sooner than later. But the Ukraine war has very clearly brought out that it is not going to be easy to fight a conventional war. And if Taiwan is able to absorb the attack, then the Chinese are going to have a tough time, and it will get stuck up into the quicksands of Taiwan. So therefore, the Chinese are now focusing more on the multi-domain war than on the physical war. I'll stop here. Thank you and Jai Hind. I finished.